Welcome back to the New Orleans Investment Conference and welcome back to the Gold Newsletter YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Kai Hoffmann. I'm the @JR Mining guy on Twitter and the CEO of the Sora Financial Group. We have a corporate update for you. We're joined by Mani Alkhafaji. I did butcher it. I was like, yes. So sorry, but thank you so much for joining us, Mani. You're the VP Corp Development at First Majestic, and it's quite timely that we're chatting today because you put out financials today, Q3 financials. Based on the production results you put out 3 weeks ago. We need to talk about them. We do. Run us through the highlights and the KPIs there.
Okay, well, first of all, thanks for having me, Kai. Nice to officially meet you. So we put out our Q3 financial results this morning. We had our production news release go out a couple of weeks prior to that. So that's for September 30th. The big takeaway is, we're aligned to our guidance right now for our from production stance. So we're 75% of the annual 2023 revised guidance. The market has been looking for our cost. So our costs have improved. So our all-in cost is 8% better than last quarter. Our cash cost is 9% lower. So we're turning the corner when it comes to these costs. We've had some interesting highlights for the quarter. So Santa Elena has been really a bright spot in our portfolio. So that's our mine that we've owned now for 8 years in Sonora. We've had record recoveries and throughput coming out of that district, which is quite exciting. Our costs are quite low and right in line with our guidance. So we're quite excited about that. We did have some one-off costs that we've incurred this quarter that contribute to a loss that we've registered. So we've had some restructuring costs that we've incurred as part of our cost reduction measures that we're doing really across the company, mainly at San Dimas. We're able to remove a fair bit of some of the unproductive labor force there. So we had to incur some severance. This is going to yield some lower costs in the future. So the payback on these costs is going to be about 7-8 months, which we're quite excited about. So going forward, we'll be able to utilize and realize some of these cost savings.
You mentioned all-in sustaining costs and cash costs dropped. What was the main reason? Like, where did the costs drop and where are some of the drivers, obviously?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of cost reduction initiatives that we've rolled out, quite frankly, 18, 20 months ago now, to really combat two things. Inflation has hit the industry quite a bit, and that's not new to us, as well as the Mexican peso that's really strengthened quite a bit in the last 18 months or so. So we've put out really a company-wide saving programs across G&A, across operation. So that's been a contributor, as well as improved production portfolio. So our silver equivalent has increased in Q3 versus Q2. So that was a big contributor as well to the cost coming down. And we did shut down or suspended Jerry Canyon, which was obviously an elevated cost that was pulling our overall cost up.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm not sure how to ask this, but just seeing the share price reaction today as well, it seems like the market has lost a bit of trust in the company, right? Jerry Canyon was difficult for the company, and of course now the financials weren't great based on that, on those one-time effects there. But how are you planning to gain the trust back?
Yeah, it's going to take some time. We're back to really our core right now. So we're back in Mexico. This is our 20th year of operating in Mexico as a company, and we stepped into Nevada, but Mexico has been obviously in our portfolio for 20 years. So we know it quite well. We have great relationships with the union, with the communities that we work with. So we have a lot of support. And it's just going to take some time. We're going to have to continue delivering on our commitments and our promises. So the guidance obviously is going to be a big focus for us. We want to make sure we're hitting that. We put out a revised guidance in July of this year. And like I said, we're on track to meet that. We're reiterating that. So, look for another strong Q4 going forward.
You're also spending a lot of money on exploration right now. That's somewhat new for the company because you used to buy the ounces instead of explore for them. How's that going?
Yeah, so we have about $29 million in an exploration program for 2023. We're quite excited about the Sonora district where Santa Elena is. If you recall, in 2016 we made a big discovery, the Ermitaño mine, which has been quite exciting. It's been a bright spot in our portfolio. We took the mine from about 3 million ounce producer to right now sitting at 9. So there's going to be more exploration in that region. It's a highly prolific, quite friendly jurisdiction that we're in. So we've had about 6 rigs turning over there. We're in the process of putting our 2024 budget, and we'll be putting out a guidance in January. But expect that to continue. We control, in that region, there's 102,000 hectares. Sandima's got 74,000 hectares. So it's a lot of untapped, unexplored areas that we'll be going after.
Fantastic. Interesting. You keep mentioning guidance. I think we need to mention what the guidance actually is for the year.
Yeah, so our production guidance annualized is about 24 to 26 million ounces. That's inclusive of Jerritt Canyon that produced in the first quarter. Mexico by itself is about 24 to 25 million equivalent. So we're reiterating that. Our cost guidance, our all-in sustaining, I believe, is about $19 to $20 an ounce. If you look at our Q3 year to date, our all-in sustaining is very close to that right now. We're at 20.5, 20.7. So we'll continue improving our costs and fall within that.
Okay, fantastic. Any other cost measures that you have planned? And maybe since you brought up Jerritt Canyon here as well, is that still weighing on the balance sheet? Like, I know it's in care and maintenance, but how is that coming?
Yeah, so the focus right now is optimizing cost there. So we're trying to reduce the care and maintenance to the bare minimum. Now, we have a couple of mines in care and maintenance in Mexico. Care and maintenance in Mexico versus Nevada is quite different. There's a lot of costs that have to be incurred, compliance that we have to abide with. So the cost is generally more elevated, but the team has done a really good job just reducing that. There's more room to optimize, which we'll be tackling in the next few months and get us ready for 2024. Develop an exploration program to get us back in there. And yeah.
Okay. Your VP Corp development, and we talked about that First Majestic used to buy its ounces in the past, and looking at the market sentiment and maybe some of the depressed share prices out there, how active are you on the M&A side right now, Mani?
There's always, with these challenges, there's always opportunities. So we're always looking. I was chatting with some of the folks here earlier at the conference. It's just more a testament to how hard it is to find silver. We want to be back to our focus, being a silver producer, and finding a good silver deposit is not easy. So we're always looking. There are a few targets that we keep looking at, and we want to make sure it makes sense for us, for the shareholders. So you never know. We can control the organic growth, so that's what we're focusing on. M&A, we're always looking, and
you'd make a great politician, by the way.
Yeah, it's tough to say. Obviously, like we can't disclose what we can, but it's always ongoing.
Yeah, no, more hinted at the market sentiment as well, whether interest picked up more. Is like, hey, the prices are so low right now. Maybe we should get more proactive right now instead of waiting till silver's again $30 or so.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like it's if the right opportunity comes, it's business focus. We'll be looking at different jurisdictions is always on the table. That's people are always having conversation about this. We're always reaching out, so sure. We'll see what happens.
Fantastic. All right, let's move on to one other exciting activity that First Majestic has recently sort of started and launched is its own mint.
Yes.
You have to explain the rationale of it. When I had Keith on, we couldn't talk about it yet, but what's the rationale?
Yeah. So First Majestic. So it's like I said. So we've been in operation for 20 years. About 15 years, we started selling our own bullion. So from our own mine. So right now we're selling it out of the Sandima's mine. Our silver a portion of it is minted through third parties. Now for 2022 and this year is looking to be about the same. We've been maxed out at how much silver we can sell. So we did about 440,000 ounces last year, which is about 4 or 5% of our production through the mint or through our bullion store. We're expected to do the same this year, and that's really supply constrained. We've not been able to get more out of the mint just because they're tapped out as well. So, quite frankly, Keith came up with this idea. We've been sitting on it. We've been, we've been quiet on it. We've been building it, and we're excited to announce it. So it's in the commissioning or in the construction phase right now. We expect to start pouring in the next couple of months. and that's going to debottleneck the supply constraint that we've had right now. So we expect our production or our sales to go up to 300% in 2024, which is exciting. The good thing with that is it's vertical integration. So that's our mine producing the silver from the ground, taking it to the refinery, taking it to our mint, and putting it really directly in the shareholders and the customer's hand, away from the banks and just really away from the middleman. It's allowing us to capture the premium that we were basically paying the mint in the past. This is going to hit our bottom line, which again is going to improve our financials going forward. And it's going to, it's quite buzzing right now, our billion sales in this conference. So our shareholders, I think, will be pretty excited.
It's interesting. Like it's a business I know very little about, right? So I'm curious, like how easy is it to start up your own mint? Because I'm assuming since you're creating money, that there's a lot of regulation around that topic.
Yeah, so we've been quite fortunate to have really the top two guys from the two largest mints in the U.S. working for us right now. So we have our VP of the mint and our operator, the general manager of the mint, both working at First Mint, which is the subsidiary that we'll have. They're quite knowledgeable in the business. They're quite knowledgeable in the marketing. So that's we learned the business as we were building it. So we're quite confident that we crossed the T's and dotted all the I's. So it'll be good. It's no one has done it before. So we're pioneer from that stance. But we're excited.
It's interesting. Yeah, I was wondering why nobody else is doing it and what the hurdles, like the barriers of entry are, right?
Yeah. It's getting the equipment. So we had to source the equipment. We had to source the knowledge. So I don't want to get too much into what goes behind it.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find information on mints. All the mints are really privately owned, so you'll never really know what goes behind it. So we spend a good chunk of time learning about it. Understanding the industry, understanding the market before diving into it.
Can I ask what the cost outlay to start a mint is?
It's not material. It's got a pretty quick payback. So we'll be, within a year, it'll be sub-year payback, high IRR. So it's a no-brainer.
You're sourcing your own material, absolutely.
And that's one of the big challenges that the mints have is getting the silver. And ideally we want to be selling all our silver through the mint. We're producing 10, 11 million ounces. That makes a big difference on the bottom line, so we're excited about that.
Absolutely, fantastic. Yeah, that was exciting news when it hit the wire. I was like, that's interesting. Okay, that's something I haven't seen before, so.
Yeah, there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of positive feedback, which is a testament to obviously what we can do with it.
Absolutely, fantastic. Mani, thank you so much for stopping by. It was a fantastic conversation. I really appreciate the candor, just running through it. Everybody can see it. You got the answers for us, so I really appreciate that. And thanks so much. I think that's it from First Majestic here. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, and we'll be back with lots more from the New Orleans Investment Conference. Thanks so much for joining us.